This is second part video of plumbing a bathroom core in Autodesk Revit. In the first part I did the vent and sanitary system. In this video I'm going to do cold and hot water. To begin, I'm going to the first floor plan view and I will zoom in my work area. In the first part of this video I modeled the sanitary and vent lines before assigning a system to my plumbing fixtures. This led to inconsistencies in my fixture unit calculations. In this video I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to start with cold water. First I'm going to select a fixture unit that has a cold water connector. Then up here in the contextual tab I will select piping. I know this is a cold water connector because I can see system name acronym cold water 1, and before I hit OK I want to check system editor because I want to add other plumbing fixtures to this system. I can see up here that the add to system icon is active and I can go ahead and add these water closets and the urinals. I can also just make a square selection box and include more than one element at a time. Also, I'm gonna add the mop sink and I get this error message that tells me that this family does not have a cold water connection. I'm going to close this message and hit OK. If I select this family and click Edit Family, I will notice there is one connector for waste, but there is no cold or hot water connectors. Let me close this family, and luckily I already have an updated version that I will bring into my project and override the existing one. Now I can see the symbols for cold and hot water connectors. I'm going to hover my cursor over this urinal and hit tab several times until I see this dashed blue square. Now when I hit click and I select cold water 1 system as shown here in the properties panel, I can edit the system in order to include updated version of mop sink. Typing PI on my keyboard triggers the pipe command, and I'm going to change the pipe type to copper, 2 inches for diameter, and middle elevation will be 2 and 8 inches. I will click here and draw pipe segment up to here. Now I can change the elevation to 8 feet and draw another segment above the utility room. The system of pipes I just drew is sanitary, but I want it to be cold water, so I will look for domestic cold water above ground. This pipeline is too thick, and in order to change it I need to hit VG on my keyboard and then go to Filters tab, where I can select both hot and cold and override the line weight to 4. In order to get calculations like total fixture units in a system, I need to have only one open end. So I will look for a cap copper fitting in my plumbing template and then just apply it at this end. Now I will select this water closet, and up in my contextual tab I can choose connect into, make sure I have cold water connector selected, and then click on the pipe I want to connect to. I'm going to fast forward where I'll do the same for all these fixtures. Before I continue, I would like to see my 3D view as well, and if I drag it I can split the window in two. I need to bring water to the lavatories, so I'm going to select this existing cold water line and use create similar command, but change the diameter to 3/4 of an inch and then start modeling. My current elevation is 8, and if I want to drop in the wall I just need to change mid elevation while the pipe command is still active, and then continue to model the pipe. This end needs to be capped as well. When the lavatory is selected, I need to make sure I select cold water connector, then hit OK and connect to the capped line. I will fast forward again while I connect all the lavatories to the cold water system. Now when I place my fixture units pipe tag at the open end of the run, I can see total fixture units. There is also a mop sink. To connect it, I will click on the cold water connector icon inherit elevation, and here in the properties panel it looks like my pipe is cast iron. I need to choose from the drop down copper and now set diameter to 3/4 of an inch. I am drawing a short line that is still in the wall, then change elevation to 8 to match cold water line main, and then draw a line upwards and left to connect. If I choose so, I can also add a 3/4 of an inch shut-off valve. I have the cold water system for this floor, and since I have lavatories, I also need a water heater. My plumbing template has a few options for water heater, and I'm going to choose this model and rotate it using spacebar, and then place it right here in the janitor room. After selecting the water heater, I can click on the cold water connector. I need to make sure I come at the connector elevation and size. I can draw a short line and then change the elevation to 8 so I can match the main. Also, I will add a shut-off valve for the water heater. Before I start modeling hot water system, I want to bring cold water to my second floor. To do that, I need to select my 3D view, select this elbow and delete it. Now this line can be extended all the way to the second floor. Going back to my plan view, I need to go in my project browser and open second floor plan view. I'm going to zoom in my working area, and I don't like how my second floor view is set up. I want to make it look the same as first floor. In order to do that, I need to go back on my first floor, and down here at the visual style, I have an option called graphic overrides. Here I can save the settings of this view as a view template. Template name is going to be plumbing, and I want to include in this view the view scale, model, annotation filters and link overrides. Now back to my second floor, in the view properties, scroll down to view template and change it to plumbing. Here in the shaft there is the cold water riser, and if I select it I can use create similar command and change elevation to 2.8 to model the main line in the bathroom core shaft. To add the fixtures to the same cold water system, I can hover my cursor on the riser and use tab key a few times until I notice these dashed blue lines. Once I click, I can see the system name, which is cold water 1. I select edit system and I'm going to fast forward while I add all the plumbing fixtures. Here in my 3D view, I want to connect these vertical and horizontal lines. Also, I need to cap the horizontal main in order to connect water closets and lavatories without problems. If I want to get a line to the lavies, I will select this water line, use create similar command, set the diameter to 3/4 of an inch, middle elevation to 8, and I'm going to start from this other end, model a line to the left side of the view, change my elevation to drop in the wall, so I have a line to connect the lavies. Now I want to tee in this point, and to do so I will go back to my 3D view, select copper elbow fitting and hit that tiny plus symbol. Now I have a T and I can right click on the open connection, select draw pipe, and I can model a cold water line for the lavies on the right side of this view, and I'll fast forward while I connect the remaining lavatories and the mop sink. Everything is connected now, but when I go to the first floor, I see that my total fixture units are 0. and that is because there is more than one open connection in the system. And in my 3D view, I can already spot that I am missing a T at the riser and the main. This is a quick fix if I use Trim and Extend tool. Finally, I can start modeling the hot water loop. To do so, I will select a plumbing fixture that has a hot water connection and select piping. The new system called HW1 will be created. The only thing I need to do is to check Open in System Editor so I can add all the plumbing fixtures I need. Also, I can go to Select Equipment and add a water heater to this system. Now I need to do the piping loop and I will start from the return. I will use the pipe command, set my elevation to 7/8 so I don't clash with the cold water lines. 3/4 of an inch diameter is fine, and make sure my system type is set to domestic hot water. I will connect the return to water heater cold water line, then return towards the wall, or actually maybe keep going a little bit more downwards. And then towards the wall. Drop the elevation to 2/8 around the line in the wall. In order to rise to the second floor, I select Pipe command, click at the end of the line, set elevation to, let's say, something high like 15, and then hit apply. Now when I use connect for the lavatories, I will notice again that there is no window popping out asking me to select the system, because there is only one open connector left, which is hot water. I want to continue my loop with a 1-inch line going upwards, and to do so, I need to go over my pipe in 3D view, hit tab once on keyboard to select the last segments up to the T. Now I can go up here and change diameter to 1 inch. I can also add a tag showing that this line is 1 inch hot water and it is going up. The loop continues on second floor, but I need to add the remaining plumbing fixtures to the hot water system. I hover the mouse cursor over the hot water riser line and hit tab on my keyboard a few times till I see the dashed line. Just to make sure I have HW1 selected, I can take a look here under Mechanical Settings in my Properties panel. Now I can select Edit System and add hot water related plumbing fixtures on second floor. Back to my 3D view, I will select 1-inch riser pipe, right click at the open connector and select Draw Pipe to run the pipe in the wall. And in order to get 90 modeling degree angles in 3D views, I need to hold Shift key on my keyboard. When I select this horizontal segment, if I look at the constraints, it is referencing first floor, but I can change it to second floor and change middle elevation to 2'8" so I can be the same as the first floor. Back again to second floor plan view, I will continue the loop to 7'8" elevation and run across to the right. I will drop down in the wall with 2'8" elevation, click once and then set the elevation to -6 to drop down to first floor. Next, I will connect all plumbing fixtures on second floor to my hot water system loop. Now I can select the drop segment, set the reference level to first floor and change the elevation to 2'8" so I can run a horizontal line in the wall. Switching back to my plan view, I will continue the loop at 7-8 elevation and turn towards the water heater. To connect to the water heater, I need to make sure my hot water line is aligned with the connector, which is in the center of the water heater. Before I connect, I also need to add mop sink hot water line to the system. To add a shut-off valve, I can select the existing one and just use create similar and simply place it on the line. Now I will select the water heater and click connect into the open end of the hot water loop. If I hit create similar on my fixture unit tag, I can go around the loop to check if my total fixture units are computed. If I place one of these tags at the end of the cold water system, I can see that the hot water fixture units are also included in the total through the water heater. I also have a recirculating pump in my template, so I'm going to look for it so I can add it to the system. The elevation needs to match the hot water line elevation, and I will check show annotation symbol and place it in the proximity of the line I want to connect. Then I will align it, and to connect I will need to go to my 3D view to split the line with the split element command. I need to remove this union and drag this segment so I can connect to one end of the pump and then drag the other segment to connect to the other end. I'm not happy with the line weight of the pump symbol, so I will right click and override graphics by element. For projection lines, the weight will be changed to 4 and the pattern to solid. Now I will hit apply and then OK. I can also change the symbol size for the pump if I wish to do so. When I select the system, I have the option to pull a pipe pressure loss report. Also, while selected in the contextual tab, I have something called System Inspector that opens up a tiny prompt, and when I choose Inspect, I can hover over any segment and see the flow and the fixture units. If I want to see a chart with all my systems from a project, I can right-click and go to Browsers and then System Browsers. This will open this side window and my systems should be under piping. System Browser displays a list of all the components in each discipline and system in the project. For example, here I have cold water 1 and there is various information I can pull from here, and also I can manage all my systems I have in the project.